All right. Well, hello and welcome, everybody. It is the Kodiak Broncos Podcast, and today I am here to talk about the Broncos tonight. I'm calling this Denver Broncos tonight because honestly, I don't have anything clever to call this other than Denver Broncos tonight. But I just want to say a couple things. It's just me right now. So I want to be as interactive as possible with you guys in the chat. See, we already got a viewer. Thank you very much. But yeah, without further ado, if there's anything you guys want to talk about in particular, let's get right into it today. So yeah, overall, you guys are really good. What's going to make this go? You guys are really good. What's going to make this be a successful show? So I'm going to make sure. Hold on. How to on StreamYard. All right. Show comments on stage. All right, here we go. Either way, yeah, I hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday night. And once again, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below because it's going to be a fantastic time here tonight. I've got a great show planned for y'all. And ultimately, once again, the main thing here is that I want this to be an interactive show. I want this to be one of the most interactive Broncos shows out there. And you guys are obviously going to be a huge part of that. So whoever's out there, I see we already have a viewer. Just let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And yeah, overall, I would love to hear you guys' feedback as well. So if you guys have any thoughts on how I can improve this, if you guys have any thoughts on what I can do to make your viewing experience more enjoyable, then be sure to let me know. Be sure to tune in. And I see we already got some viewers in here, so don't be shy. Make sure to join the chat. I'm going to make this a hugely interactive show. And yeah, overall, so today we've got some big news about J.K. Dobbins. We got rather large news, regarding him, and it's the fact that he did not practice today, which I think is pretty big. I think it's pretty notable. But yeah, so here, let me just leave a comment on my thing real quick. Yo, son of Judah, what's up? I see you on my I saw you on my comments on my Pat Bryant video. I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm doing fantastic. Pleasure to be here with y'all on this amazing Wednesday at 9:40 p.m. And overall, yeah, let's just kick back and let's have a nice little chill hangout sesh as well. Either way, I'm going to talk about the Broncos bringing back Lil'Jordan Humphrey. And overall, it's pretty divisive amongst the fan base. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But I'm one of those people that this entire offseason, I was like, man, I really don't want to see Lil'Jordan Humphrey. All right. The problem with Lil'Jordan Humphrey is that I felt like he just missed too many things last year. He made too many bad plays last year that ultimately sunk the team. But here, let's go. Let me share this with y'all. Good evening, Richie. I'm happy that you are here. Fantastic to see you here as always, my friend. Yeah, overall, I'm just going to share this with you guys. So, all right, here we go. Add to stage. Here we go. Okay, guys. So the main thing you want to notice about Lil'Jordan Humphrey is the blocking. Okay, right here. So you see that, he had some lackluster games, but against the Chargers, he blocked really well. Against Baltimore, he blocked really well. Against the Chargers, again, he blocked really well. Week 17, week 18, in those important games down the stretch, he blocked really well. So I'm just curious, what do you guys think of him? What is to make of Lil'Jordan Humphrey? Because listen, the way I see it, the screen game had been absolutely inexcusable this year. Trent Sherfield was absolutely god awful. I don't want to see him again. I don't want to see Trent Sherfield taking the field at all this season. Trent Sherfield actually did not practice today, and Mike Kliss was a little confused. Hold on, let me grab my water real quick. Make sure y'all hydrate, fellas. Yeah, exactly, Richie. That's what I'm saying. Trent who? Wait, hold on. Before I bring up Lil'Jordan Humphrey again, I'm going to talk about Trent Sherfield because this guy has just been absolutely invisible all year. I genuinely not trying to be mean, but I think he's been probably the worst player on the Denver Broncos this entire season. Let's look at his blocking. All right. So, he's had 4 pass blocking opportunities. That's a little interesting. He got 2 penalties week 1 against Tennessee, but yeah, I think Son of Judah puts us pretty well. LJH back kind of sucks, but hopefully Pat gets some more reps being an actual receiver instead of blocking. Also, Trent Sherfield was a waste of money. Right on. Right on, Son of Judah. Like, that's how I'm feeling about Trent Sherfield coming back here is that, or Pat, or Lil'Jordan Humphrey coming back here is the team is clearly not happy with what they've gotten from Trent Sherfield, and I can't blame them. I can't blame them at all. You know why? Because our screen game sucks, and Trent Sherfield was brought in here primarily to block. He was primarily brought in to, fill the Lil'Jordan Humphrey role. But I see a guy who's just getting less and less playing time every week that goes on. Um, my question is, why not look at instead? Yeah, you're right. Andy, NFL, the Sherfield and Ingram signings have been so underwhelming. Yeah. And the thing that really hurts me is not the Sherfield one, but the Ingram one. The reason the Ingram one really, really hurts is because they made Evan Ingram going out and getting a big, big deal. And that's how I'm feeling about that. Um, but Richie, would you like to clarify this for me? Because I think you're making a good point if you think I'm making, but yeah. Either way, Sherfield, once again, he just has not been good at all this season. Like, he's just getting less and less snaps. Um, initially early on in the season, like you see that in September, it was over 20 a game, which is around shit. If I had to guess, I would imagine that's about a third to a quarter of the offensive snaps per game, but it's just been dwindling. It's just been dwindling every single week. And, the Giants game, I thought that would have been a heavy Trent Sherfield game. Oh, why not look at A.T. Perry? Oh, okay. I get it. I get what you're saying, Richie. Yeah, no, like that's another very, very valid concern. And, I mean, I guess we haven't seen him at all on the field yet. We haven't seen him at all active yet. So my guess is he's just not that good. Like, that's just my thinking. The Broncos, they picked him up after week 5 or week 6 last year. And the fact that we still have not given him his opportunity in a time period where you need your best 53 on the field any given week, especially going 8-2 this year. Obviously, we had the playoff push last year. It tells me that they just don't think A.T. Perry is very good. And honestly, at that point, I don't know why you even claimed him if you're just never going to give him the opportunity. But yeah, Ingram has been underwhelming. Hopefully, he can turn it around starting Sunday. Also, I wonder if we draft a tight end. Kind of early to think about. Listen, Troutman is also on my short list of guys that have had the worst year on the Broncos. I think he's had a better week the past 2 weeks, but Adam Troutman's just been terrible anytime I've put on the film, anytime I've actually bothered to watch him. So, Evan Ingram, I agree that he has not been that good this far. Actually, let me pull up. I'm not like a stats guy, but Evan Ingram has not really been what I hoped he had been so far. Okay, 227 yards. The fact that Evan Ingram has not eclipsed almost 350 receiving yards this season after what he did in Jacksonville the past 3 years. Like, I don't know. It's just pretty damning. My comments are the same pertaining to our practice squad wide receivers. I mean, Loner looks like an absolute waste at this point too. I don't think he's been as big of a waste as the other guys, but yeah, once again, I don't know why the Broncos are so insistent on throwing Troutman out there. Troutman just clearly is not that good. Like, Troutman, I don't know what to say other than he's just not very good right now. So, like, listen, see what they can be or kick him. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do kind of understand what you're saying, but oh well. And then obviously we have Mercedes Lewis and then Patrick Murtaugh on the practice squad. Yeah, overall, that's a good question. So see what they can be or kick him. But I want to go back to what Judah was saying right here. Is it early to think about? Well, first of all, the NFL draft is a 24/7, 365-day thing. So it's never too early to think about the draft. Never, never too early. But, I think only Kenyon Sadiq is really the guy who's I'm gonna pull up a big board. I think Sadiq is the only like real first round dude And obviously, you're going to have to get a guy who blocks, and that's really, really tough to actually find in the draft because, the guys that do all the dirty work, they're typically not the guys that are like high up on these like college teams or these pro teams big boards. So you look right here, Kenyon Sadiq, Max Clare, Jack Hendricks, Michael Trigg, Eli Stowers, Joe Royer, Justin Julie, Miles Kittlesman, Lawson Lucky. This was a guy, Kitzelman, I should say. I was really, really high on him. Oscar Delp. Like, listen, John Michael Gillenborg. Yeah, like these are all guys that I liked preseason, but overall, you're talking about the draft, and it's just, all I have to say is never too early to think about the draft. But yeah, like inline tight end needs to be high up on the Broncos priority list because Adam Troutman has his place in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. Adam Troutman has his place in this league, but he's a tight end 3. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. I also just don't think Nate Adkins is very good. Like, I think he's fine for what he is, but he's a jag. He's just a guy. He's nothing special. We can replace his H-back role. I do want to say, Chris Henry, I want to give a huge shout out to you because you guys make this possible, and you guys have made this so much fun for me. And, my content style has kind of transitioned. I used to do a lot of long form last year. I've transitioned into more short form, but I want to do everything. And it starts with live streaming at night as well. I think Sean Payton needs to run some more tempo with Bo and not overcomplicate plays and get some bread and butter plays. You see, a lot of people talk about the tempo and that like being more effective for the team, but we go under center. Like, we personnel sub the first drive of the game against the Raiders. We go 3 and out. We 3 straight run plays. People are just like, all right, let's get the run game going. And we didn't get the run game going. Then we go tempo the second drive of the game, and we still go 3 and out. The problem is I just don't know what we have to hang our hat on. Like, the bread and butter plays for us last year were the screens, and that's nowhere to be found in this offense right now. I think a lot of the bread and butter last year was Marvin Mims, being lined up everywhere. And while he is important to this offense, I refuse to believe that he is this important to the offense to the point where we're just completely ineffective and inept without him. But oh man, I'm thirsty. Hold on, I'm gonna mouthwash too. Okay. Fred Wolf Gaming. Yep. Or Faded Wolf Gaming. Yep, we have no bread and butter plays, and you're completely right. And the thing for Sean Payton to do now is find what we do well and find what we can hang our hat on, because I'm going to search up this, and then hold on, that's not what I was looking for. There we go. Yeah, man, like this is just what we're dealing with right now on the offensive side of the ball, and it's just anything 10 yards downfield is basically guaranteed to be dead on arrival. Or I shouldn't say guaranteed, but 50% dead on arrival. Like, outside right is a joke this year. Outside right is a joke. But yeah, the reason we were so successful last year on offense, even with all the massive 3 and outs, is because we were hitting the explosive plays. We were hitting those long touchdowns. This year we're not. And we're still going 3 and out at the exact same rate. And Bad Cooper 235, I just want to say a huge shout out to you. This is my cat Caesar. Obviously, he's a tuxedo cat. Yes, he makes everything so much better when I'm here with him. So you say hi? Okay. All right. Casey Concepcion. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what we do in the draft. Maybe we go skill position, but I just don't think it's within this regime to go wide receiver and draft a guy like Casey Concepcion. But we'll see. How do you feel about Bo's confidence? It's gone right now. Like, there's just nothing to say other than he seems a little off. And this is a pretty good point. Like, he seems to have it all in conferences. Like, yeah, that presser he delivered today, I'm just like, man, where has this guy been on the field? Because he says all the right things. He's a guy who's clearly faced adversity before. He was the number one ranked dual threat coming out of Auburn in the high school class of 2019, same class I was in. Obviously, I wasn't a football recruit, but number one dual threat in the class of 2019, goes to Auburn. He's a legacy there. And then he basically gets run out of town by the head coach and the fans. Then he goes to Oregon, and he has a much better, more successful time there. And then last year, you think about the draft a year and a half ago, April 2024, May 2024, everybody's saying that, hey, he is a third round. He's like actually a third round talent, but the Broncos took him number 12. So this is the guy that throughout his whole career, he's had to basically tune out noise. And for, everything he's done so far, he's tuned it out. He's done an amazing job so far. He's done an amazing job at, just doing his thing and playing football because he is a football guy through and through. But yeah, you're right. He doesn't play like it in the pocket. He is often rushed. As soon as he feels an ounce of pressure, he throws the football away. And he's going to need to feel pressure a little more. And hey, if I'm Sean Payton, like I know Sean Payton hates negative plays. I know Sean Payton hates, going backwards. I know that he hates penalties. He hates sacks. He hates turnovers. At a certain point, you're just going to need to let him rip it. You're going to need to let him rip it. Like I know we are 8-2 because of the fact that we have played a hyper conservative brand of football, largely like against the Titans, against the Jets, against Houston. We were very conservative with the football in all those games. But at a certain point, when you're playing a team like the Chiefs on Sunday, like you're going to need to do or die. Like, hey, if you're scoring touchdowns, but it results in some picks from your quarterback, like I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Like I don't think we're going to be able to hang with Kansas City's offense without Patrick Surtain. Like I just don't. So then you lean on your quarterback and your head coach to do something about it and take risks and be comfortable with, taking the good and the bad. Like, I think that's just what's in there. And I think he's focusing on not taking the bad right now. I forget what game it was, but I thought I was having a Pat Shurmur offense. I was having bad flashbacks. I still believe we will get things worked out. I agree with you on that last point. I also believe we're getting work things out. This has basically been all season for me besides the fourth quarters and the Bengals game and the Cowboys game. Unfortunately, you're not going to get to play historically bad defenses at every step of the way. So that's a little unfortunate there, but I get what you're saying. I still think we will get things worked out 100%. But yeah, it's basically been a Pat Shurmur offense all year. Actually, no, in 2021, we had 2 950-yard rushers. So I don't know, maybe that offense was better than what we had been dealing with lately, but yeah, the weird thing is that the first drive against the Titans, he looked pretty confident. It's just been downhill from there. Yeah, no, you're completely right. And I remember being at that stadium. I remember if Bidet catches that football on the first drive of the game, he probably takes it for a touchdown. And, Lord knows how the season looks from there on out. But, yeah, he looked very confident. I remember our first pass of that game was to Lucas Kroll, which I don't know why we're targeting Lucas Kroll on the, first pass of the season, whatever. But, it's just been downhill from there. Yeah, you're completely right. But he did look confident, and that's the worrying thing right now is that he's just playing with no confidence at all. Now, I feel like he's one of those guys that maybe he just gets jittery. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just snorting too much Bocaine before the games. Maybe he's taking too much Adderall. Well, I know Adderall is a banned substance by the NFL, but maybe he's just drinking too much coffee. Maybe they're all just having too much pre-workout. He reminds me a lot of Riley Moss. Like Riley Moss is a good player. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes he just looks out of control. Sometimes he looks stressed. And I know Riley Moss uses tobacco because if you guys watch his podcast with Sternald last year, he is packing lips the whole time. Now, noted, he did appear on Patrick Surtain's podcast today, so go check him out there. But yeah. I actually think we have great talent on the team. I think Sean overcomplicates the offense. I also think that Bo could be frustrated and possibly injured. Here's what I have to say. I don't think we have great offensive talent. I think we have a great offensive line, and that's it. Okay. For all the good things that our front office has done, we are still a team that's missing 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks because of the fact that we traded for Russell Wilson, because of the fact that we traded for Sean Payton, and we're still lacking high-end offensive playmakers. Like, you have Marvin Mims, who is a offensive playmaker, but very inconsistent as like an actual wide receiver. Great returner as well, but even then, that's not really been there at all this year. Hold on, I'm gonna switch this so we can see something a little bit different. All right, cool. Um, I don't think Sean Payton overcomplicates the offense. I think that, he overcomplicates some personnel things, but at the end of the day, like, we're literally looking at an offense that is just not executing, in my opinion. Like, and he's calling this offense like he does not trust the quarterback, and I can't say he's wrong for it. I really can't say he's wrong for it. Especially all the talk in the offseason and training camp, all the praise from Sean Payton. I think the lights are a little too bright from Bo. Yeah, man. Like I said, I thought it was really stupid at the time that Sean Payton put those expectations not only on his team, but on his quarterback. I don't know why you're going up to those national media members and you're being like, he's going to be top 4 or top 5 in a couple of years. I don't know why you're going up to those, local media members and being like, hey, I've had 7 or 8 teams that I think could win the Super Bowl. This is one of those teams right now. Like, you did so well last year as a team with a 5.5 win total, and you got spanked in the wild card game. So now we're talking Super Bowl. Like, I'm glad they're thinking Super Bowl, but tell that to your guys in the meetings before the game. Tell that to your team on the Monday meeting before the Titans game. Tell that to your team, behind closed doors. Do not make it public. Do not announce your love for your roster, for your quarterback in front of everybody, because if you go down with that ship, a lot of people are going to be looking at you, Sean Payton, and being like, dude, what were you talking about? What kind of hopium were you huffing? What kind of cocaine were you snorting before you came out and said all those things to the media? But yeah, I think the lights are a little too bright for Bo. I agree with you. Like right now, I think, I wouldn't say the lights are too bright because he has played well in some pretty crucial situations. That being said, like, yeah, I get what you're saying. I 100% get what you're saying, that it was stupid for Sean Payton to put those expectations on his team, and I 100% agree with you there. We did play 10 games straight, no bye week, flew to Houston and back for a short week after playing number 1 defense. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And, I think that I thought the Broncos managed this really well, but I think next time they have an international game, they're going to think twice about denying the bye, because I thought what they did was smart at the time. I thought it was like, all right, you fly to London, or you play the Eagles, then you fly to London, then you fly back. Okay, then you have 2 home games, then you have a short flight to Houston, then you have a flight back here, which is not long, Denver to Houston, or Houston to Denver, and vice versa. It's not long. And then you have 10 days off, and then you play the Chiefs, and then you have a bye week. That to me sounded pretty good. Like, I get the process behind it of not wanting to buy after London, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, they just look tired. They just look tired, and the number 1 defense thing, like, I could buy into that, because ultimately that's not invalid. That is not an invalid take, but at the end of the day, like, we just have to judge what's on the field, and the reality of the situation is, against the Raiders, that just wasn't good enough. It just wasn't, and I know that Houston's a pretty good team. But, or I shouldn't say they're a pretty good team, but they're not an easy team to beat. How can that offense be tired when they're barely on the field? I don't know, man. Conditioning is a very real thing. Like, since they're only getting 30, 40 snaps a game, what am I trying to say? Since they're only getting 30 or 40 snaps a game, maybe the days they finally get like 60 against like the Bengals or the Cowboys, it just wears them out. But no, the NFL season's still a grind. Like, we're starting to get hurt, and you're starting to see a little bit of that. But no, I get what you're saying, Chris. Like, that's actually pretty funny. Yeah. Respect my co's. What's good? I was enjoying talking in your group chat about Lil'Jordan Humphrey earlier. Yeah, overall, a lot of people are just really divided about this, and I'm not excited that we brought him back, but like, Trent Sherfield sucks. Like, we needed to do something different. Like, the reality of the situation is what we were doing was not very good at all. The reality of the situation is, Trent Sherfield had been very poor this year as a wide receiver. Trent Sherfield had been demon back. Yeah, the only thing he's a demon with is giving the ball to the other team and dropping passes into other defenders' hands. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, a lot of people are talking about that, and I'm just like, man, I think it's pretty funny, like the discourse right now. So we'll see. One sec. Give me 5 seconds. I'm going to get a tub. All right, I'm back, y'all. So I used to be off Lil'Jordan Humphrey, but after seeing the same production from the wide receiver room, arguably worse, I'm fine with the block upside. 100% agree. Like, I'm not super excited that we brought him back, but Sherfield has been nothing. Sherfield has been absolutely nothing this year, and you needed to try something different. You needed to try something different. Like, look at Lil'Jordan Humphrey's blocking grades from last year. Like, are they great? No. But he still did all the dirty work. And, you know, guys like Sherfield and Troutman, they just flat out miss blocks every week. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Been a fan since 1977. Bo struggling is similar to Elway's struggles. Just people's expectations. Yeah, I will say different era though. And like, obviously I wasn't alive in 1984, 1983, 1985 when John Elway was still a young player. I got to imagine John Elway had less around him than Bo Nix does. I got to imagine that John Elway did not have the infrastructure that Bo Nix has. And you know what? I get it. Like, Bo struggling is similar to Elway's struggles. Like, I agree that there's lofty expectations put on him. And, you know, people do have expectations of him, and they should. Like, this is supposed to be a really good football team. And, yeah, that Lil'Jordan Humphrey fumble on Sunday is going to make me crash out. Bro, if this happens, I cannot imagine what Twitter is going to be saying if this actually happens. Oh my God. And I did just get a super chat. Boom. Thank you. Thank you, Faded Wolf Gaming, for the $5 super chat. Means the world to me that you are willing to take time out of your day and, you know, give me some of your hard-earned cash, whether it's 50 cents, whether it's $5, whether $500. It is always so surreal to me because I've only gotten like 4 of those ever. But yeah, thank you guys. I've been creating content for about a year now based on talking about the Denver Broncos. I did a NFL channel the past 4 or 5 years, but overall it doesn't make it less surreal to me. So thank you so much, Faded Wolf. I appreciate you so much for giving me that super chat. And yeah, overall, the Lil'Jordan Humphrey fumble, you know what's going to make me crash out? The Lil'Jordan Humphrey and Trent Sherfield both missing a block to get Tyler Bidet blown up for a loss of 5. Like, that's what's going to make me crash out because, honestly, we've been very conservative with the football this year, but I don't think we've been making, you know, enough impact plays or risky plays, if you will. I don't think we've been doing that. And honestly, now it's balls to the wall time. Like, you got to go wheels up. You got to, what's it called? You got to do everything you can to, I'm trying to go on here. All right, let's go on Twitter and let's just see what everybody's saying about the Broncos real quick. Okay, never mind. I don't know why. What's it called? Well, we're getting a bunch of Nuggets talks. All right, maybe pulling up Twitter blindly was not that great of an idea. Yeah, you're right. It's do or die time now. It is. It honestly is. Like, because you're 8-2. And hold on, let me pull this up. I'm gonna pull up our schedule for the remainder of the year. Like, all right. So it's do or die time now. We have 7 more games left in the NFL regular season. So it is do or die time. And ultimately, okay, we've got Chiefs, we've got Commanders, Raiders, Packers, Jaguars, Chiefs again, Chargers. Like, listen, we should be able to take care of business in at least 4 of these games. Talking about this one right here, boom, Broncos, Commanders. That should be a win, in my opinion. Broncos, Commanders, that should be a win. Noted, I'm also going to be having nose surgery the day after that game. So if you guys don't see me make content for a week, it's because I'm going to get my sinuses cut open and I'm going to get my nose redone because I get like 15 sinus infections a year. So the day after the Commanders game, hopefully I'm feeling good because it would be really, really shitty if I were to get no surgery and the team were to just lay an egg the night before. But yeah, talk about our remaining schedule. Like, all right, so this is what it's looked like the entire season. I was lucky enough to be at this Giants game. I was lucky enough to be at the Titans game as well. But yeah, Chiefs Broncos, it's going to be a big one. Like it's Chiefs week. We hate the Chiefs, obviously, and um, let me know what you guys think about the KC game on Sunday. Like I feel oddly confident about this game. Like I don't know why. I feel confident, but I don't think we're going to win. Like, does that make sense to you all? And it doesn't make sense because we're an 8-2 team and we should win. And this team, like, or we shouldn't, should maybe should win is the wrong thing I'm saying there. But yeah, yeah. That Commanders game might get flexed out. Very well could. I made a tweet about that. Then Cody Rourke clapped back at me. He was like, "What do you mean? If the Broncos are winning games, then what's the deal?" I'm like, "Dude, if the Broncos are winning games, but the Commanders still have Marcus Mariota, like there's a pretty good chance that game gets flexed out." It's even Josh Allen wasn't good for 3 years. Take some time. Even after the quarterback carousel, I think Bo is the guy. Been a diehard Broncos fan all my life. Enjoy the content as well. Keep it up. Like, thank you, Faded Wolf. Blow kisses to y'all. Yeah, I agree that Bo Nix does need some time, and it's just frustrating right now because this team is built to win. Okay, you have probably the best trenches on both sides of the football. You have an all-time defense that's sacking opposing quarterbacks at a historic rate. And I think that's just what people are frustrated about is that, it's very volatile. The NFL is volatile year to year. Trenches are not sticky. Secondary play is not sticky. Now, granted, you have the Broncos defensive infrastructure. It's a little more sticky than other things, but you may be losing your defensive coordinator this upcoming year to becoming a head coach. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that. I'm from Philly, and I went to the most popular bar near the stadium, and boy, it was crazy being the one in the paid man jersey and a sea of green. Dude, that must have been awesome. I remember I was in Allegiant Stadium in 2024, week 18, 2023, technically. And I remember walking out of that game, and I remember calling everybody, being like, all right, guys, it was best that we lost that game in the long term. But yeah, I love being in opposing territory and seeing the Broncos win. I saw the Broncos win on the road in 2015 in Cleveland because I have tons of family members out there, and it was the game where Cleveland gave us a heck of a fight the Super Bowl year and took us to overtime. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Peyton's play calling? The same group of players looked much better when Davis Webb was calling it in the preseason. I think a lot of the blame with Sean Payton is misguided this year. I think there's so many things that you could blame Sean Payton for that are very, very valid. I don't think play calling is one of them. The reason I don't think play calling is one of them is because, all right, I'll give you the 3rd and 1, the backwards pass to Courtland Sutton, whatever. That was laughable. I'll give you the 4th and goal screen against the Giants. That was laughable. But what I see a quarterback that can't execute in a lot of cases, and I see wide receivers that can't execute in a lot of cases. So I don't think just because a play call is a screen that it's intrinsically bad, even though we're bad at it, if that makes sense. I think there's plenty to blame Sean Payton off for this season. You can blame him for the penalties, which you should. Like, he prides himself so much on discipline and execution. You can blame him for the special teams. He fired Kotwica last year to bring in his buddy, and our special teams is a joke. You can blame him for putting those expectations on the team that we would be as good as we were. And yeah, overall, that's what I feel about it. I think there's so much you could blame Sean Payton for, but play calling is not one of them, in my opinion. Like, that's just what I say to everybody in my TikTok comments. Like, a lot of people in my TikTok comments always want to talk about Sean Payton and how he's a bad play caller. Don't think it's true at all. Like, you're just not, when you're not executing, play calling is such an easy cop out to what actually is going on. I feel the same about KC. I could see us sweeping them or getting swept. Honestly, what about a split? What about a split? But yeah, no, I get what you're saying, Judah, right there. Never mind, you kind of answered it. after I wrote it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Mm, that's true. We do need to win now. We do need to win now. Agreed. And that's part of why I'm just frustrated with the offense right now is because, man, I see so much going right for this team this year, but also not. And yeah, whatever. I think Sean Payton's play calling is fine. I'm getting tired of forcing this Oregon connection and giving all these wide receiver one targets to Troy, who hasn't done much with it. 100% agreed. Like, Troy Franklin has been very up and down this year, but mostly down. And when he is on, you see games like Cincinnati, you see games like Indianapolis where the offense was cooking for 3 quarters. You see games like who is that other Dallas? Like, yeah, when Troy Franklin's on, he's on, but man, we need more consistency out of the guys behind Sutton. We really, really do. And we've got another super chat from Rob Burson 6761. Thank you so much, Rob. Once again, means the world to me that you guys like me enough to give me your hard-earned cash in an era where money's hard to come by and you vote with your dollars. So that is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so, so much, Rob. Of the Peyton era, is there a game you can point to that shows what he's trying to do overall? Maybe the Cowboys game this year. To answer this question, I'm going to go back to 2024. And the reason I'm going to go back to 2024 is because I think there was a game that where you saw what Sean Payton ideally wants to do with this team. And I'm going to point to this game against Atlanta right here. So the reason I think that this encapsulates what the Broncos really want to do is because, we had a really, really good screen game this game. We had a really, really strong short yardage passing game. We had like an actual run game that was really, really good. And we had a defense that quite honestly was just getting off the field and beating the brakes off or our defense was beating the brakes off him. I think ideally this is what you want your quarterback. Sean Payton wants his quarterback to like live in. High percentage throws, guys executing downfield, Javonte Williams was our leading rusher at 9 for 59, but it didn't matter because our screen game was on such a heater. So I think if you want to point to a game to answer your question in a bigger picture, like, is there a game that you can point to that shows what he's trying to do overall? This one. This one, because it was just complete domination in all 3 phases. And that's why I say that. It's true some guys getting wide open. Not sure if it's timing or read progression. Here's what I'll say, Faded Wolf. I think the problem with this team right now is that all these guys, they're not making it easy on themselves. Okay. When Bo is finally, starting to ramp up, we get a holding penalty that pushes us back to 1st and 20 and just completely kills the drive. When Bo is finally, firing in all cylinders, we get drops. Like we got Tyler Bede dropping 2 passes the past 2 weeks that would have got for first downs at the very minimum. Troy Franklin quitting on routes downfield. Yeah. And the same thing with Troy. We heard all this talk about training camp, about the huge step he takes, but I'm not seeing the consistency. Yeah, no, 100%. And here's, Troy Franklin was a 4th-round pick for a reason. Like, I think because of the fact that he was mocked in the 1st round in a lot of cases, like a lot of people are, I don't remember my reception perception login, but I want to see if Troy Franklin's reception perception is out here. All right. Never mind. I don't have him, but either way, yeah, no. Troy Franklin just hasn't been consistent enough this year, and that's just the reality of the situation. I'm going to pull up Troy Franklin's PFF, and you're going to see together that he just hasn't been like what I think the Broncos were envisioning when they traded up for him. And once again, I like the fact that they traded up for him. The fact that he fell to the 4th round, I was really excited about the pick when they made it. But here we go. Yeah, here we go. Just hasn't been good enough, quite frankly. Like, this is okay. He's 42 for 70. Like, that's not good. That's not good. Like, 60% of your receptions you're hauling in. That's not good. 4 drops this season, too. 2 against Cincinnati, 1 against Dallas, 1 against the Raiders. So, yeah. I don't know what to say. Like, he's primarily, he's splitting basically 50% of his snaps between wide and the slot. Although I thought his best fit in the NFL as a wide receiver was going to be like, how do I put this? An opposite number two in a vertical offense. And yeah, I agree. Thank you for the answer. Oh yeah, of course. No, thank you. I like that was a good question too because it allowed me to like really dig deep and test my football knowledge. And yeah, I do think that Atlanta game though is what Sean Payton ideally wants his teams to look like. Um, but yeah, so I think the time of possession, I think the top priority are the penalties. Putting the offense behind the sticks obviously tears the cohesion and flow 100%. Okay. And this team was not very penalized last year. Like we did not have a single game with 10 penalties or more last year. We already have 4 this season. And it's just not good. I don't know how you clean that up, to be quite frankly, because a lot of it, I get the defense plays hard, the defense plays fast, the defense plays whatever. And yeah, I agree. Our defense, and yeah, that is on Sean Payton too. Yeah, 100%. Like, uh, I agree that Sean Payton needs to get the penalty problem figured out. And he said, we will. You know, so often in the first month of the season, he was like, all right, we got to clean that stuff up. We got to clean those things up. And I'm just like, where's the mop bucket, bro? Where's the mop bucket? Like, what are you cleaning up? Oh, man. But yeah, Troy isn't a possession guy. Like, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Troy isn't a chain mover possession guy. I get what you're saying. He's more of like a stretch the field kind of guy, but still, I would like him to get the ball on screens and not run into the other team. I still would like us to be able to go to him on a third down and be able to convert it. And his chemistry with Bo just hasn't been there this year, and that's just the reality of the situation. Our defense has so much talent, but has our offense is barren. Yeah, 100%. And, shout out to Vance Joseph. And, this is one thing I give Sean Payton for credit the most. Our talent development has been absurd since he's come here in a good way. We've had so much just unforeseen development of defensive players, like even guys that we acquired from elsewhere, like Brandon Jones. Hufanga has taken a big step up this past year. Justin Sternad, coming into his own. Nick Benito becoming one of the game's very best. Same with Zach Allen. There's very few guys I remember just regressing ever since he's come here. But yeah. Yo, what's up, Mary? Cool to see you, Mary Chavez. Welcome in to Broncos tonight, November 12th, 2025. And we have another super chat from Faded Wolf Gaming. Woohoo! Y'all are getting me all bricked up with these super chats. Thank you very much so far. Absolutely love doing these with you guys. So once again, I owe you guys so much for you guys choosing to give me your hard-earned cash. So most memorable game as a fan. I'll give you that's a good one. I think the most memorable game I've ever had as a fan was 2012 week 1 Broncos Steelers Sunday Night Football. Like, I was at that game. I was 11 years old. I was rocking the Willis McGahee jersey, but that's the most memorable game I've ever been to. But if you're talking, actually, if you're talking about most memorable game, like sequencing, like I can remember what happened really, really well throughout the game. I think it's got to be Cleveland last year because that's another one that I was at. And yeah, top favorite all-time Bronco player. You guys can call me a new gen all you want, but Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons would constantly come into the restaurant I worked at, during the season, and I worked there starting in November 2021. So he was kind of on the outs when he was there, and then we had the Russ year and the Hackett year, and Justin Simmons is my top 5 or is my top all-time favorite Broncos player. If you're talking about guys that are no longer on the team, Chris Harris, yeah, he was a dog. Like, I never saw Champ Bailey play out his prime. I saw the end of his career here, but I will say Tebow Mania was what made me fall in love with football in 2011. That was my second year following the team. I was in 5th grade at the time, and man, oh man, that was a roller coaster ride, and that's what made me realize how awesome the sport could really be. We need more 2nd and 5 opportunities. We need shorter goals to get downfield. How can we use Bo's strengths if we're always playing too far? It takes so much pressure off of Bo, and then what happens? See, the problem with this is sometimes even when we get into those 2nd and 5s, we're just bad. We're just bad at executing them. We had 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 1 against the Raiders on our first 2 drives of the game, and we couldn't do anything with them. And yeah, I agree. We need more like short yardage opportunities. We're too bad on in 1st and 10. We're often in 1st and long. So yeah, it's been pretty bad. Surprise, surprise, he plays way more efficiently. Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. He does play way more efficiently, when we're using both strengths if we're always playing too far. And you know what? He's not running as much this year. And being on the move is something that I think he does really well. The two best throws from last game came when he was on the move. The two best throws, the one that was like a 30-yard strike to Bryant, and then the one to Troy Franklin to ultimately ice the game. Like those were his two best throws, and he was on the move for those. So we need to be able to utilize his strengths that well. Mine was Peyton Manning's comeback against the Chargers. I think that was 2012. I think that was 2012 because I remember spring break. I was in or fall break at the time. It was 2012. I was in 6th grade at the time, and overall they were. Yeah, no, that Monday Night Football game against the Chargers was really good, and I remember that was like our real launch pad for the season, and we won 11 straight games to finish the year, and we were one of the hottest teams in the league. Yeah, I remember that. That was a baller, baller, baller game that I'll remember forever. Like I remember that was really Chris Harris Jr.'s coming out party. Son of Judah 2012 or 2002 says Tebow Mania was generational. First of all, I have a question for you, Son of Judah. Are you a 2002 baby? Because I'm a 2001 baby. But Tebow Mania was generational. Let me see if he has PFF. Wide receiver, Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Wow. I didn't expect him to actually, like, have a... I didn't expect him to, like, actually have, like, a... Hold on. Wow. I don't really know why I decided to look up Tim Tebow's stats, but yeah, this was Tim Tebow when he was with us. And, throughout the games, like I remember my 5th grade class, there was always an argument about who would you want to lead the team going forward, Peyton Manning or Tim Tebow. And I remember even 10-year-old me was smart enough to be like, guys, if Peyton Manning becomes available, you gotta take a shot on him. But Tebow will always be a legend in my heart. Like, was he a good quarterback? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, but he's still a legend. Like, he still gave us one of the most miraculous Broncos playoff moments ever. And honestly, he kind of revived a dead franchise. Like, and then Tebow, or what's it called? Peyton Manning looked at the team that we had around Tebow and was like, yeah, I want to go there. What made me fall in love with the Broncos was the back-to-back Super Bowls with John Elway. Oh, yeah. Same with my dad. My dad, I think he was like 27, 28, or no, maybe he'd been a little older, like 30-ish, when they went back-to-back with Elway. And yeah, I know a lot of people that are in your boat too, Faded Wolf. That was, man. I was not alive during that time period, but man, oh man, I would have loved to have seen those 90s Broncos in person. I'm a 2002 baby. Hey, shout out to you. There's so many of us Gen Zs out here. My first real football memory is the Santonio Holmes catch in the Super Bowl. That's actually not too far off from mine. Like I remember my first real football memory is going to Broncos Raiders 2007, the same game where Mike Shanahan iced the kicker for the first time because it was the first time you could do it in the NFL. What's it called? The NFL. I forget what you call it. Rulebook, I should say. But yeah, what's it called? Mike Shanahan iced the kicker. And what had happened was Sebastian Janikowski missed the field goal. And then I remember we actually ended up winning that game as well. But yeah, so I'm a 2001 baby. And my first real football memory, like I had been to games. I remember going to games when I was younger because my sister was like a Denver Broncos junior cheerleader. But my first like conscious memory is watching the Broncos and Raiders in 2007, week 2. I think I just gained consciousness in 2007, honestly, because I don't remember much before that. I was 6 years old at the time. That's how I'm feeling about that. What was I gonna look up? I forgot what I was gonna look up. Either way, let me know. Also, what do you guys want to see more of on my channel? Because this is a nice opportunity to talk to to some great supporters I have on this channel. So, what do you guys want to see more of? Like, obviously, I do a lot of short form, and short form is really, really good for helping me grow. But let me know what you guys think. Like, do you guys want me to do more film reviews? Do you guys want me to do more like long style content? Do you want me to do nightly live streams? I mean, I'm fine with doing a Broncos country live stream every night because honestly, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, shout out to all 11 of you in here. Like, this has been absolutely fantastic. I've had an absolute blast tonight. And I will go as long as you guys want me to. Actually, not as long as you guys want me to, but it's been pretty awesome so far. It's been pretty awesome so far. So I've really, really enjoyed doing this with y'all. So I'm gonna look at our PFF grades against the Raiders. How does Jonathan Cooper have the highest coverage grade on the team? Doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. Either way, I'm surprised PFF graded Zach Allen well because they seem to have an agenda against him every week. Delano Hufanga, Drake Greenlaw, once again, this does not track with what I saw. I saw Drake Greenlaw much better than this. Yeah, I don't know. That's a little interesting, but it does suck that we're going to be missing Alex Singleton. It does suck. Nightly live streams would be pretty cool if you can do it. Yeah, I can do it. And Andrew Mace did do Denver football after dark for a while. Then he just got tired of it. But I think it'd be really cool to just keep building this audience and keep building this, and seeing where we can go with this. So yeah, I'm all for it. Live streams are awesome, especially after an emotional game. Going to need to vent after the Chiefs game, 100%. And obviously, I'm going to put out my short stuff too. Like, I'm going to put out my 5 things we learned because honestly, that helps me reach the Broncos mainstream and it does help me grow. But yeah, I'm going to put out a video afterwards that on there too. And then I'm going to do a solo live stream probably that night too. And then I am going to be on Horsepower Hour Monday night too. What stats do you think are more important? PFF grades or wins? I mean, wins, obviously. Like, that's obviously what matters more. But, yeah, I don't know. Are you just talking about, like, in regards to Knicks in particular? Or, because, yeah, Son of Judah just basically answered this for me. Like, PFF is very flawed with their grades. Like, they don't have a defined process. There are a lot of guys that play really, really well and get, for whatever reason, docked on PFF. And I don't think their grading system is perfect either because they assign a -2 to +2 grade for any given play that a guy has. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't think now, what I will say, PFF premium stats are pretty sick. Like, hold on. Like, the pass rush stats are pretty dope. Like, hold on. You go to D-line and then you see pressures in the NFL. Let's include edges in here too. Like, this is pretty baller. But yeah, overall, so who do we got here? Aiden Hutchinson, Will Anderson, Micah Parsons. Zach Allen once again leading the NFL in interior pressures as he seems to do. And he is such a big part of our defense. Now, McGlinchey and Bowles, they got their hands full with the Greek freak Karlaftis coming in here on Sunday. But yeah, I agree. And depending on what you're looking for, you can twist stats to players' favor. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, you can basically pull out any advanced stats you want, and you can put them in your favor. But yeah, let's talk about, look at all these pressures by the Broncos this year. Like, this is crazy. Think about how many guys we just have contributing up and down the lineup, and it's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to include linebackers in here too because, they don't have blitzes. Oh, they don't have, like, what's it called, enough snaps. Yeah, overall, like, this is, yeah, you can bend PFF grades to fit your narrative, so that's pretty cool. That's always pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I love hanging out with y'all on this nice little Wednesday evening, November 12th, 2025, 10:33 p.m. Let me just check my phone real quick. But yeah, any other thoughts about the Broncos, just be sure to leave them out there because uh, if there's anything you want me to talk about, then I'm more than willing to. One day we'll have an elite offense, but an average at best defense, and we'll miss days like this. Man, I don't know. You think about 2013, like I think I see more people talking about the 2013 offense, and I think people reminisce on that more than you know, even the 2015 defense. Like obviously 2015 historic defense, historic what they were able to do that season. Like it was an all-time great run. The defense was absolutely scorching all year long. They always came up big in the pressure situation. So hats off to the defense for finding a way to get it done. That being said, I see more people talk about the 2015 offense, in my opinion, or 2013 offense, like in national NFL circles, because yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like defense has always been our identity, or I don't know. Defense has always been our identity, but man, I'd be feeling much better about this team right now if the offense was on fire and the defense was shitting the bed than the other way around. What do you think the key is to winning out our schedule? Well, we have the defense to win out, if that's what you're saying. Like if you're talking about like just like, being able to take care of business for the rest of the year, then yeah, we have what's it called? We have um all the infrastructure to do so, but hold on, let me look at our schedule one more time. Okay. So I'm gonna go game by game and just talk about this real quick. Hold on. Here we go. Actually, I want to see how I can. Oh, all right. Can I zoom out? Okay, I can. All right. Or actually, it still covers it up. Dang. Okay, but either way, so sorry, the quality is a little bad, but we got the Chiefs, we got Commanders, we got Raiders, Packers, Jaguars, Chiefs again, Chargers. If you're going to tell me what game we really, really need to get up for, it's this one right here, Christmas night, Arrowhead Stadium. I think we're going to split with the Chiefs. I genuinely do. I don't know if it's going to be, Sunday. Maybe I'm just being optimistic because I don't want Christmas to be ruined, but yeah, I genuinely think that we can split with the Chiefs. I'm feeling pretty good about the Commanders game because they just look lifeless right now. They just look lifeless, and there's just like almost nothing going right for that team right now. Raiders, we should win. Like I know, once again, scrappy divisional opponent. They're going to be wanting to play spoiler, but I think we just got too much. And ultimately, what you saw Thursday night, you saw a really, really bad Raiders team that you were just lucky that they wanted it even less than you did, and that's the reality of the situation. Packers, once again, they're in free fall mode. They don't scare anybody right now, especially without Tucker Kraft. We got if the Eagles D is frustrating Jordan Love, then we're going to be frustrating Jordan Love all day long, especially with our home crowd, being raucous or whatever. But yeah, so that's another one that I'm just like, all right, I think we got that one. Same with Jacksonville. So I go to these three games right here. I go to Chiefs again, and then Chargers. And that's the key. If you're asking me what I think is going to happen, I think we go. I think rest of the season we go 13-4 at the very least, and that's what I'm echoing what Son of Jude is saying. What's the media going to say if Boa has a great game against the Chiefs? Say 290 passing yards and 3 total touchdowns. I mean, I don't know, man, because a lot of media members are just absolutely dunking on him, clowning on him lately. And it's going to be interesting to see how they would walk all that back, depending on how Bo Nix does against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the thing is, against Patrick Mahomes and against our secondary without Patrick Surtain, that might not be enough. That stat line might not be enough, but that's where you just got to rely on your elite edge tandem. That's where you just got to rely on your elite pass rush to be able to take care of that business for you. So, yeah. But yeah, that's a good question on what the media is going to say on how they're going to walk everything back if they can manage to, whatever. Especially Nick Wright, Chiefs fan, and Bo Hader. Yeah, respectfully, I don't watch like FS1. I don't watch national stuff. I'm only concerned about the Broncos now. I do want to start making like I had this channel Kodiak NFL. I do want to start going on to the national scene again, but ultimately I don't pay attention to any of those talking heads. If you're gonna watch a national show, watch Nightcap with Uncle Ocho. That's just the way I see it. I don't watch First Take. I don't watch what's that one that Skip Bayless is on now? What was the one he was on with Shannon Sharp? I can't remember what it was called. Wait, is First Take on ESPN? I can't even remember. But yeah. It's been brutal. I want to hear people rub it into Nick Wright's face. I mean, that'd be absolutely fantastic, but we'll see. We'll see. Worst Chiefs team in almost a decade. Same Chiefs team that almost lost to the Jaguars. I mean, this is very true, but here's the deal. Our offense and our special teams consistently lets us down against the Kansas City Chiefs. Our defense will always come to play against them. Like, we know that for a fact. Vance Joseph has done a heck of a job on Patrick Mahomes, even going back to 2018 in Mahomes' first year starting. Like, Vance Joseph and the defense, they always get up for the Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs game. The problem is the two worst parts of our team this year, the offense and the special teams, have been just completely letting us down against the Chiefs at every chance they get. So that's the way I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling about that ultimately. And that's just the unfortunate reality of the situation here. I'm going to go to receiving now. Let's see. Let's pull up these receiving grades. But yeah. I don't see the Chiefs running the ball well. They're going to have to pass the ball quick. Pass rush is going to have to get home and hit Mahomes. Yeah. The way to beat the Chiefs is you just got to pressure Mahomes and you got to be able to sack him. Now, the problem is Josh Simmons did practice for the Chiefs, rookie left tackle who's had a great year so far. So he's been out the past month due to a personal reason. And you know what? I hope he does play because I want us to beat them at their best. But I agree. I don't see the Chiefs running the ball well. Now, the thing that is a little concerning is nobody knows who the green dot is going to go to. Now that Alex Singleton is going to be out for the foreseeable future, nobody knows who's actually going to get the green dot. But yeah, I don't see the Chiefs running the ball well. They're going to have to pass the ball quick. Yeah, they are going to have to pass the ball quick. And you know what? The problem is that, if you give Mahomes a split second too long, you might be too late. And that's the problem. Why do you think the media protects Drake May so much with an evenly easy schedule? I don't know, man. Like, I think it's because Drake May's games haven't been as ugly as ours have been. Like, I think Drake May's had a phenomenal year, and he's first in MVP odds for a reason. Like, he should be first in MVP odds, and you know what? And all the advanced stats indicate that he is having a heck of a year. So I don't think they're necessarily protecting them because they don't have a reason to go after him, And he, by all accounts, has won every game he should this year besides Vegas week 1. But yeah, while simultaneously hating on Bo. I don't know, man. Like, it's just kind of different. It's different dynamics right now. But ultimately, I think it's because the Patriots are usually playing pretty well, and we have not been for most of the season. I know that the Patriots had some hiccups with Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay is still a very strong NFC team. They still were on the road in that game, and they still put up a heck of a fight. The pass rush from Atlanta looked ferocious against them. They still were able to make things happen. So that's why I'm thinking about the media protecting Drake May. Although I don't think it's necessarily protecting. I think it's just acknowledging that he's been a beast this year, which he has been. I could be wrong, but seems that our team plays to the competition. Sloppy Raiders played sloppy number 1 offense, destroyed offensively number 1 defense, outlasted the defense. Last year, the thing that's frustrating is last year we didn't play to our competition. Last year, every team that we should have beat the nuts off of, we did. Now, we don't play to – I wouldn't say we necessarily play to our competition this year because the teams like the Cowboys and the Bengals that were just completely overmatched on the defensive side of the ball, like they should not have been that. And then the Giants, they came in as one of the hottest 2-4 teams I've ever seen. And, yeah, overall, like that's just basically what I'm thinking about. I don't think we played to the competition. Now, did we play down to the Raiders? Absolutely. But I think if you look at the Sean Payton era, you're mainly going to see this team beating the doors off of those teams that we should have. Because May is the new hot thing. Last year, it was Jaden Daniels. This year, it's May. Next year, it might be Bo. Who knows? I mean, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I get I get the thought process behind saying that, but yeah. Yeah. But going back to this faded wolf comment, I mean, the problem, once again, I do think we play the competition, but there's so much for me to be like, no, we don't. We beat the nuts off of some horrible teams last year. I think about Atlanta. I think about Carolina. I think about, the Colts. Even when we had to come back in that game, we did. So yeah, that's the way I'm feeling about that. But yeah, I think it's time for me to get out of here. But I loved doing this with y'all. And I don't work Friday morning. I do work tomorrow morning, which is why I'm gonna get out of here relatively early. But Friday, I don't work morning. So tomorrow night I'll do this again. I'll do this again after the Jets Patriots. But yeah. Either way, I want to give a huge shout out. Wait, one last comment. Okay. Faded Wolf, also people saying that we've been beating bad teams. Most teams that have been losing play harder than the consistent winning teams. Yeah, no, that's not an invalid point either. But either way, shout out to all y'all in the chat. Faded Wolf, Judah, Chris, Dom, Rob, thank you all for the super chats as well. Like, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. Andy, I know I saw you in here earlier. Respect my co. So thank you all so much, because this has truly been a pleasure. And I will see you guys tomorrow night, because honestly, now with how much fun I had on here tonight, I know that I am going to have a lot more fun if I just keep doing these and doing these. So yeah, huge mile high salute to y'all. I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your night, and go Broncos.